Today I've decided to do a video to catch up on a lot of things that I've been missing out on. I have, over the past week or so, been sorting out the initial map design and getting it playtest ready. Whenever I did sort this out, I initially knew of some decisions with the map that I knew I'd want to change. For instance, this peak area that snipers could aim straight towards the capture point. I knew that this was not going to be a good thing for the map, nor did I think in general that this entire choke point from spawn to spawn was necessarily good. However, I did go ahead and have this playtested. I had also been ill for the better part of 2 weeks, so I also lost track on time and work. However, I did receive my feedback responses. And as seen from most of these questions, some are just general questions asking about what type of characters they played as, but most cases the important ones was good, bad, and general suggestions. Now, a few of these areas, of course, seems to suggest that a lot of people did like the sightlines of the map, and that there were multiple paths that were very interesting. However, whenever you look at the later stuff, you start to realize that, of course, because of how the initial map was drafted out, there was issues with spawn camping, and as soon as people got access to the capture point, they were easily able to hold it, and the opposite team weren't able to catch up and take the objective as well. And of course, most of the time, it seems like the sniper was the more built for this map, which I definitely noticed from the way I was initially designing this map. And I felt like I didn't design it in a way that I felt was good for what I initially drew up. But overall, a mixed rating for the map. Ignoring that, I went ahead and in between the playtest and now, I made an updated version of this map. Now, I had already made an updated version of this map before, when I made this V2. Now, this version 2 of the map has some elements that I didn't implement just yet, like the proper doors and such. However, I feel like I'd still want to experiment with this concept of the map initially as well. Of course, I'll be adding walls and such to prevent the same issue as just spawn camping their doors. But I feel like I would like this idea just to experiment with, and I'll see if it's good. I can implement it into my proper final build. Now, ignoring this, I have today been working on changes to the map. Now, this will look quite a bit different from the initial map that we had a look at, whereas instead of it just being 3-way lanes, it's now a 2-way lane where you instead have the main point being a central place that's open. Now, of course, I intend on adding boxes and such to add chances for players to hide themselves. And then, of course, this walkway similar to before, where you're allowed to get into a higher area. Now again, I do also plan to add walls and such to prevent people from having issues with getting past these sections. I also added some boxes here and there that should hopefully allow the players, like scouts and such, be able to easily reach between these two platforms. And of course, some other general stuff that I'm still working on with these vertices and such. But ignoring that, the updated doors and such are fixed. Whereas initially, when I had the playtest, people were easily able to just go inside the other players' doors because I hadn't sorted out the prevention for it as of yet. Of course, now this has been implemented and such. And another main thing is that there's now added this glass window to prevent people from just staying in their spawn, sniping out windows. Now, I could change this in the future to do something again, but for now I'm going to leave it at this. Another problem that always was like the case is that the supply lockers, whenever you interact with this one, it would animate this one opening. That was just because of naming issues and such and such. And then the main issue was the respawn rooms. I initially didn't have this function respawn room because of how I was absent and missing one of the weekly tasks. And in that task showcased how important this function is to have because it will allow the players to spawn in their correct locations. And I've also moved around some of the health packs and such here and there, whereas like here we go, you have access to the medium ones, and then further down along we have small health and large ammos. I'll of course be moving things around here and there for balancing and such, but overall I feel like I want to maybe try and incorporate a mixture of this and that previous one I just showed. But of course, further playtesting will adjust the way that I progress onwards. But ignoring that, I'd say that I've been able to do a good job catching up to any missing work, and I am keeping on track on things. I'll of course update things, and I'll try my best to post more text-based forum posting. I cannot guarantee as such, but I will try to. And that is all.